For over 20 years, marketers have been researching how consumer senses are tied to products and how cues from those senses influence a customer's perception of the product. Understanding how even mundane objects like pencils influence a person's sense of touch, hearing, or smell can greatly impact how someone perceives a product. Much of the research conducted focused on the concept of embodied cognition. Basically, that if you are not actively thinking about something, your senses will help influence your decisions. So while your mind is on autopilot, you are not consciously realizing that senses are being associated with experience. There are many clues to this type of association. In one example, a study found that holding a warm drink was more likely to make someone perceive a stranger as friendly compared to participants who had held a cold drink. It begins to show a link between sensory stimuli with how someone is perceiving an event. In another study, it had been demonstrated that being in a warm room made participants more likely to conform to the crowd compared to those in cooler rooms. This was demonstrated on TV remote preferences all the way to betting on a favorite horse in a race. This realization that the impact these unconscious stimuli can have has caught the attention of marketers and researchers and has had a massive upswing in discussion at conferences, focusing on sensory marketing, its implications, and how companies can utilize it effectively. A great non-intuitive example are electric blankets being infused with cinnamon. Outside of this context, the idea sounds like a strategy to add flair to a product, but as it turns out, the smell of cinnamon suggests warmth, causing customers to perceive the blankets as warmer. Many industries are already aware of this phenomena. The most obvious example is the food industry, as food is naturally engaging in all five senses: the crunch of an apple, the smell of wine, or the sizzling of fajitas being delivered to the table next to you. The fajita effect is real and common, but other companies resort to much more abnormal tactics to exploit the subconscious phenomena. Dunkin' Donuts in South Korea atomizes a coffee scent on buses while playing their jingle, which increased sales 29% at locations near bus stops. Automobile manufacturers have also been aware of sensory associations. Doors on cars could open and close completely silently with today's technology, but handles and latches are specifically weighted to make the user perceive the vehicle as more sturdy. These sensory associations are so powerful that they can be used to enhance and manipulate the perception of products. In fact, BMW placed mics near the engine of their 2014 M5 model and amplified the sounds of its engines through the car's speakers, even when the stereo was off, to make the car sound and feel more sporty. Even with all the information on sensory marketing emerging and the plethora of examples currently in practice, many companies ignore this phenomena and rely solely on visual characteristics for marketing. Firms need to understand and accept this unconscious association because it impacts every product. Even in the case of online shopping, where consumers are looking at pictures and possibly reading reviews, once they purchase the product, they will still experience many sensory aspects of the product. How was it shipped? How was it packaged? How does it smell when they open it? All of these are important questions to consider. How an item is packaged can have a lot of impact on the experience of a customer. Unwrapping the foil of a Hershey Kiss is exciting, like opening a little present. Opening luxury clothing in bubble wrap instead of fine crinkle paper is not. These unconscious stimuli not only affect the experience of the customer, but how well they remember it. That's right. One study infused pencils with tea tree oil, giving it that unusual aroma. They found that subjects who received normal pencils had a 73% decline in information retention 2 weeks later, where subjects with the scented pencils declined only 8%. With all of this insight, it is important more than ever to market effectively and to obtain and maintain a competitive advantage. Marketing teams need to move beyond the traditional confines of visual-only appeal and open a full sensory conversation with their marketing targets.